Hi, my name is Haley, and I'll be going over some of the Excel modeling techniques that I've learned so far in the course. Listed on the left here are some of the new Excel techniques that I've gotten to practice from chapters 1 to 5 and 7. And here on the right are listed my top 3 with an explanation of how I'll be using them today. I'll zoom in a little bit. So the max function today I'll be using to identify the maximum borrowing amount in the budgeting period. Then I'll use the scenario manager to compare how different capital expenditures timings affect borrowing. And then I'll use GoalSeek to determine how much borrowing is needed to reach a target ending cash balance. So this is the Bithlo Barbecue's simple cash budget from Chapter 4, modeling the monthly budget from June to September of 2021. First, we'll use the max function to determine the maximum borrowing amount across the months. So listed in row 32 here is the peak borrowing, is the monthly borrowing from June to September. So to find the peak borrowing amount in cell J32, I'm going to enter the formula equals max, click on that, then D32 to H32, and press enter. So this function shows the highest borrowing amount during the budget period, which is 105,200. I'll also define this cell as max borrowing. So to do this, I will go to the Formulas tab. Sorry, my Excel is being slow. Click on Define Name, and then I'm going to type in max underscore borrowing. The scope will be this workbook, and then we see the J32 is selected, so I'm going to click OK. And then we see in this corner here that the cell is now named max borrowing, which will make it easier to set up and comprehend the scenario manager. So now we're going to set up the scenario manager to test how the timing of capital expenditures affects borrowing. First, I'm going to click the Data tab. Then I'm going to click the What If analysis, and then the Scenario Manager button. So today we're going to be creating 4 scenarios, modeling a $200,000 capital expenditure in each of the months of June, July, August, and September. The changing cells are the capital outlay cells for each month, which are in row 25, and the result cell is the max borrowing value that we just defined. So to create each of these scenarios, I will click the Add button. I'm going to type in the name. So the first one will be expenditure in June. And then for the changing cells, I'm going to enter E25 to H25. And then I'm going to click OK. And we see that those are highlighted. And these months are also defined like we defined max borrowing. So since the first expenditure is in June, I'm going to type 200,000 here. Then now I'm going to click July. I'm going to enter 0. And then also make sure that August and September are 0 as well. And then I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to repeat this process for each of the other months. So this will be expenditure in July. And we want the same cells to change, so I'll click OK. June is going to be 0, July is 200,000, August is 0 and September is 0 again. Click OK. Now expenditure in August. E25 to H25 again are the changing cells. Click OK. June is 0. July we have to change to 0. August will be 200,000. And September is 0. Click OK. And now the last one is expenditure in September. The changing cells are E25 to H25. OK. And 0 in June. We want 0 in July, 0 in August, and 200,000 in September. So now I will click OK. And now we will create a scenario summary by clicking Summary. I'll make sure that scenario summary is checked, which it is, and we want the result cell to be that J32, the max borrowing that we just defined, and click OK. All right, now as we can see, delaying capital expenditure until August and September results in the lowest borrowing months. So now I'm going to go back to the cash budget. And finally, we'll use the goal seek tool to find how much borrowing is needed to reach Bithlo Barbecue's target ending cash balance of 15,000 that we see here. So since I already have a formula in the cell F30 in the current borrowing, I will delete this value and show that we can find it another way. So I'm going to go to the data tab where I'm already at, click what if analysis, and then goal seek. I'll set the ending cash balance, which is cell F31, to the value 15,000, which is our minimum acceptable cash balance. And I want to do this by changing cell F30, which is our current borrowing. So now I'll click OK. And after calculating this, we get the same answer as the if statement calculated, which was there before I did the goal seek, verifying that we should borrow 91,400 to ensure that the ending cash balance reaches 15,000. So in conclusion, the max function, scenario manager, and goal seek techniques make the cash budget model dynamic and useful for decision making. They are my top 3 techniques because I've learned how to use Excel to determine borrowing needs, test different scenarios, and maintain financial targets.